Hello farmers, thank you for tuning in to yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030, where we are talking of becoming an upper middle class economy by year 2030. The mantra being Zimbabwe is open for business. We are talking of not leaving anyone or no place behind. You would find that in agriculture, one crop that brings everyone together, be it in our various geographical locations, we are talking of tobacco production. It contributes immensely to our annual GDP as a country, and even in the agricultural industry, it is one of those pivotal crops that is playing a critical role in ensuring that people are having good livelihoods, repaying their debts, taking care of their children, hospital bills, to mention but a few. Today we are going to be looking at the processes that take place after the field activities. After you've applied your fertilizers, you have ribbed, you've cured your tobacco, now we are in the grading shed. What takes place in the grading shed is of paramount essence, given that it is that which determines the price you are going to have at the end of the season. To discuss this and more, I've taken the liberty of inviting Mr. Kavene. He is the farm manager here at Kutsaga. Mr. Kavene, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wazane. Welcome.
As we get into our discussion, Mr. Kavene, can you take us through the processes that takes place, especially soon after removing your tobacco? What takes place after this?
Of importance is to cool down the tobacco first, because it will be hot when you take out of the bunds. Let it cool, maybe for 24 hours. Then you start, before starting conditioning the leaf. You then start conditioning the leaf once it is cold. The leaf has to be pliable. Avoid handling the leaf when it is too dry, because it breaks. And also should avoid over conditioning the leaf, because it also rots and it deteriorates in quality.
Now let us talk about something that is very important: conditioning of the tobacco leaf from the bunds. And even you can go on further and talk to us about over conditioning, because there is a mukana unenge uripo pekuti munhu achiita conditioning anokwanisa kutopedzisira azoita over conditioning achifunga kuti ari kugona. Let's talk about it.
Yes, Wazanai kumaruva nima small scale farmers awana zvikwanisiro zvakada se a steam boiler. Wamanogadzira madrums. Out of that madrums ane njodzi zvikuru rinogona kuputika rikauraya munhu. Asi kana asina izvozvo zvireve kuti agoni kukondishena fodya yake. Imwe nzira ndeyekuti bhani rako kana richinge raoma unofanira kuisa mvura pafloor. Asi ndinonyanyokurudzira kuti floor ifanira kuva yakapevhwa nezvidhina, kana kuti kunyika masaga old Hessian bags wowaridza pasi ototesa mabags wane mvura. Mvura painenge ichisimuka mubhani inenge ichienda ichindofayisa chifodya. Hauisi mvura yakawanda. Ofana kuva uchidzivira kuisa mvura yakawanda mubhani imomo, nokuti mvura iyo ikamwirira zvakare pasi panozoyachisa imwe crop mubhani munenge mane too much moisture. Panokuti uomese fodya yako mubhani unenge wakuomesa futi the floor. Saka unongesa enough yekuti ukwanise kufayisa fodya. Asi usati waita izvozvo uchingodzima bhani ufanira kuvhura mabottom vents ako kuitira kuti mhepo yekunze ipinde mubhani ichisumudza mvura iya ichinofayisa fodya. Kana kuchinaya zvakare tomboti kuri kunaya kunze ukavhura mavhensi ako unyoro hwokunze uri kuunzwa nemvura unopinda futi mubhani uchifayisa fodya. Asi from time to time ufanira kuva uchicheka fodya yako kuti yapfava here, kuti isaite over condition, because fodya ine mafuta arimo atoti maoils. Saka iwo anokonzeresa kuti fodya irambe ichitora unyoro. Saka ikagara nguva yakareba ichiconditionwa inoita too much condition, inoita mvura chaiyo chaiyo. Saka good condition ndeyekuti inofanira kuti ibatike isingafi. Then kana uchingobata fodya ngaite sejira, yoita sejira uyezve ukaipressa kana kudzvanya zviya inofanira spring back, ichidzokera back kuti haina unyoro hwakawanda. Kana chinge ine unyoro hwakawanda ukaidzvanya inoramba yakabatana, otoziva kuti fodya ine unyoro hwakawanda. Yes, inenge ine unyoro hwakawanda. So it has to spring back, because that fodya yangu haina unyoro hwakawanda.
Now Mr. Kavene, I want us to talk about leaf handling. What does it mean? What does it entail? And what is proper leaf handling?
First port of call, it is to realize that every leaf counts. Because you would have topped your crop at 18 leaves. Zvino ukatanga kuti one shizha wauraya rimwe shizha waribata zvisizvo, which means hausina 18 mashizha, so you are losing. This time of the game or this stage of the game, that's when you can make or break.
Yes.
Wakasauta mari kana kurasikirwa nemari. So vamwe varimi vanoita ndezvekuti akaona shizha riri paground anorisiya rakadaro kana kutoritsika kana kutotsikwa nengoro yemombe oro kuno kumafarms makuru kana kutsika netractor kana vashandi kutofamba vachitsika shizha iroro. Saka uda kuoneswa kuti shizha roga roga rinokosha ndo rinozoita kuti uwane goho rakanaka. So leaf handling, it starts from conditioning the leaf and storing the leaf. From ban, we have conditioned our leaf, then to some rough bale, tondo ichengeta. Mufana kwa mine a certain percentage of humidity in the ban, in the storage room. About 76% humidity in the storage room. In the ban, of course, we want 80 to 90% humidity, but that's too much for cured tobacco. Yeah.
Okay.
Even the grading shed here, you want about 76% of humidity in the grading shed to keep the tobacco favorably moist, but not too wet, favorably dry, but not too dry. It has to be in between. So that's leaf handling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Kawene, chidzika takadaro tisati tanobata kugrading. Panyaya ye-rough baling, what will be taking place exactly? Ritori bhero ramunototi istandard here kuti kana kutoritakura raakutokwanisa kuenda kuflow. Because I understand we do have rough bales. Then we also have proper bales, those that are worth presenting before the buyer. What does rough baling entail in general?
Let me take you backwards a little bit. We used to do some bulking.
Yes.
After untying the leaf, we bulk it. So we ended up having some bulk bands. Fojga inochapa bulk kana chinge nemafuta akawanda ukaisa weights akawanda. The recommended weight per bulk is 350 kgs per square meter. More than that, wacha over compressed tobacco. By the time bonozo visual grader panova paita stack band to preserve the leaf. Unoisa a probe. What I say a probe, that's the test meter. You know, a certain percentages of moisture in that or heat. Irikuitika mu bulk. Chupa changoita mu bulk. Chupa changoita like compost ipapo. We then said, okay, zvauraya fodya yakawanda izvozvo in order to improve toward the kwakuzoya rough baling. Rough baling is an individual rough bale, as the name depicts, as rough bale. It's not for sending to market. Yes. It's rough bale in order for us to store our tobacco accordingly. So tobacco matures much better in a rough bale than in a new system like a slate pack.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
But we are only allowed to stake 3 of them as compared to a slate pack and even stake them up to 8 or maybe 10 high with a slate pack.
Yes.
But with the bulk, with the rough bales, just 3. But you have to turn them every 3 weeks. Rangari pamsoro, roenda pasi, rangari pasi, roya pamsoro, ripakati, roenda pakati, every 3 weeks to avoid rotting in the rough bale.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kawene. That was very detailed. I like that you alluded to the fact that a rough bale is not necessarily the one that you are going to be taking to the floors. Kune vamwe vari kunzwa kwana kuudza mwana upedzisira vanenge vachitoti ratodhindwa iri slate pack iri ndakwanisa kutosona ndoendesa kumarket. There you heard it, viewers. We're talking of rough baling here on Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030. We're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, farmers, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030, where we discuss everything agriculture here in Zimbabwe. Now, I would have done an injustice to this program if we don't talk about tobacco, because generally most of our tobacco farmers here in Zimbabwe are the most wealthiest. They are indeed making money out of their tobacco ventures. Now, as you can see, I am standing in front of a typical grading station where there was a lady who was grading according to different styles, which Mr. Kawene is going to be enlightening and us on here. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore. It's on 0772-807-506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. Leave your comments and suggestions and make a follow-up on this episode and more on our YouTube channel. It's Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also now available on Twitter, where most of these discussions do take place. It's at Agribusiness 110. Now, earlier on, before into the break, we're talking of rough baling. You have done your conditioning, you have put your bales in rough bales so that they are stored ahead of grading. Mr. Kawene, we are now here in the second segment. Welcome back.
Thank you, Wadzanai.
Now I want us to talk about grading. You have done your rough bales, they are in storage, and now you are taking them bit by bit, bringing them to the grading shed. What is the process of grading? Just highlights of grading. What will you be grading? What are the grades?
Right, the grades, these are different styles, different lengths of tobacco, different sizes, thickness, and different levels of starch and oils. Right, so hence grading process. So during grading, after you have conditioned your tobacco, because you have to condition it again, you take it out of the storage room, condition it for grading now this time, so that you handle the tobacco which is not dry. Because if you handle it again too dry, it breaks.
Yes.
And if you condition it again, you stain it.
Yes.
Like in this case, like on this leaf, you can see there, you will have stained the tobacco because there's too much water there.
Okay.
So scales are made, and each individual grader is given a task.
Okay.
We call it tasking system. Be it even kumusha, you have to task yourself to say, okay, nasi ndofana ku grader fojga yakawanda zakadi. Now, zifana kuti ndisise nomunhu ndezvekuti kandi murimi ndezvekuti anofanirwa kuti azive kuti ini kana ndichigreda fojga yangu ndinogreda yakawanda zvakadii asi ndogreda sei chii chandirimbosvaka pakugreda fojga iyoyo. Saka chinokosha kutanga kusumudza shizha rako. You pick the leaf, then you open it up. You have to open the leaf, you look at the leaf. At the same time, you are feeling the leaf, you are feeling the thickness or the thinness, the texture of the leaf.
Yes.
And you are also looking at the leaf, trying to find out whether the leaf is clean,
yes,
or there's a degree of blemishes or spots or damages,
yes,
something like that. So, like, for example, this leaf here is oranges. Then you put it there. Then you give it a name.
Okay.
Hence the grade. So here we call it two mushe. Then you, like this one here, it's nice and clean. Then it goes on number one. Say
Okay.
one mushe, because
Okay.
it hasn't got some blemishes. Then you check this one here. It has got some blemishes here and there, reddish. That's Q type of tobacco.
Yes.
So we give it a name again to one gazi, two gazi. Yes. So that's Q type of tobacco. You put it on its compartment.
Okay.
So by so doing, you find out that you would have created number of barrels.
Okay.
Yes. Kana ichiwanda ma barrels ako anwanda zvakare one mushe.
Okay.
Kana paini ine ma spots akawanda like the Karoi type of tobacco.
Yes.
Yobva also pakanzi 1 spot, 2 spot, 3 spot, 4 spot. Ndikuchena nekuwanda kwaanenge akaita. Uyezve nekuchena kwakaita shizha racho. And ofana kutarisa zvakare lengthwise, length to length. Ma short you put them on their own.
Yes.
Ma long on their own.
Power.
Ma mediums on their own. This will give you impression yekuti foji yangu yakawanda ndeipi and kana kuda kuti ndino pressure kana kudhinda for sale ndinoisa ma short pawo, ma medium pawo ne ma long pawo. So that's the grading process.
Now, Mr. Gaweni, you have brought us to some pertinent issues mukurimwa kwefodya. You would find that our commercial farmers anenge ane mabhero ari standard, either ma 100 kana ma 120. Then ma smallholder farmers anenge ane tuma monarch, tuma suitcase. Anenge ane kamwe kane 40 kgs, kamwe kane 60. But you would find that if you go kuma floors, one commercial farmer anokwanisa kubva from one edge of the room to the other edge aine standard mabhero. Zvinokonzereswa nei kuti ma commercial farmer ane mabhero ake standard yekuti unokwanisa kungofamba uri ngokanda ma L2OA, but kuna ari kana ari commercial smallholder farmer pamwe wamboisa L3OA, pamwe wamboisa L4, pamwe waona ma mix. What could be the reason kuti ma commercial farmers vane zvakadaro, ma small scale vane zvakadaro?
This goes with presentation. Presentation is very, very important. Ukatasa zvauri wadzanaye wakachena, ini ndakachenawo futi. I'm presentable. Saka fodya yako presentation inokoshera kuti ukapresenta fodya yako zvakanaka, buyer again anokuriwada zvakanaka. Because wapresenta fodya yako zvakanaka. Asi ukasanganisa fodya yako, buyer will be furious with you because you'll be knowing very well kuti this fodya yakasangana haina house. Vane yavanoti house yokuti vakatora fodya inonopinda apa mupanda uyo. Asi iyi inenge yakasangana haisina house, yakasangana ichava pabasa zvakare kuita regrade.
Vachatovhura futi
kuita regrade kuti ikwanise kuwana mupanda mainoita se mainonoiswa. Todzokera panyaya yekuti sei vachiwana mabhero mashoma, ma commercial or large scale growers vachiwana mabhero akawanda. Yanyaya yendima yemunda hectarage.
Okay.
Ndikarima 1 hectare handigoni kuti ndive ndine mabhero ari furu akawanda nokuti fodya yangu inenge iri shoma. ndikarimawo 2 hectares munoona kuti mabhero angu anotiwedzere zvakare pakuwanda kwawo. Kana ndikarima 100 hectares ndine fodya zvino yakawanda zvichida yakachena iyi inobuda yakawanda kana 200 bales dzakadai nokuti ndima yandiri kurima yakadini yakawandawo zvakare. Saka ndodzoka zvakare panyaya yequality, hazvina kuti large scale kana small scale. Quality is quality and quality is the same. Saka chinokosha kuva une passion, courage and determination uchiita basa rako uri pamunda. Whether uri kurima just 7,000 plants, do it right, stay there, be on your munda, usatumira. Both fodya ine shanje, otherwise unorasa fodya yose.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gawane. As we close this segment, can we touch briefly on nyaya yenduzi yatu vanhu varoda kunzwa? Kana pachinyorwa pagrepa paticket yariya uri murimu uri kufamba mumaflows, uona pakanyorwa kunzi L2OA. Zvinomborevei uyu ari kubvei pamwe panenge paina X, pamwe panenge paina C, pamwe panenge paina chi, pamwe momboona kumberi kwaana F, kumwe kwaana Y. What does L2OA roughly mean? I've just taken a sample from the various grades that are there. What does L2A stand for as we close?
Yes, I'll take you back a little bit again to plant groupings or plant positions. You find you would have told the tobacco at 18 leaves. The plant has got 18 leaves of from different positions.
Yes.
We've got some primings, we've got your lugs, we've got your cutters. Primings maybe 2, lugs maybe 4. Then we've got cutters, usually there are 2. Then we've got lower leaf, upper leaf, then tip.
Yes.
So what happens, these international grades, when they are given, P represents priming, that's the bottom. So if there is a P2L, it means it's a priming from the bottom, second grade. It's a fair quality. Second quality, then lemon in color. If it's at L2O, it's a leaf position, that's a leaf, second grade, or L1O, leaf, first grade, best tobacco, then orange in color. There is also an extra factor, for example, an A or FA. So what happens is like this: if that tobacco is spotted, it's given L1 LA or L2 LA,
yes,
meaning it is spotted. If it's ripe, mature tobacco, it's given an FA. F meaning it's mature, it's ripe, it's stretchy, with good smoking quality. That tobacco is quite desirable.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Gawene. There you heard it, viewers. On that note, we're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment. Stay tuned. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. We are here in the third and final segment of your program, where we are looking at activities that take place in the grading shed. You have come from the field, from the curing facilities. Now you are in the grading shed. What takes place in the grading shed? Mr. Kawene, we are here in the third and final segment. Welcome back.
Thank you very much once more.
Yes. Patakamira panapo, we are standing in front of Fodya Tusungwa Maduku. We are celebrating Women's Month. Roughly, how many dukes or hand ties can a woman do? Because I know that this task is generally given to women. And why is it that?
Women have got soft hands and they're patient on everything they do. That's why they're called mothers. So that's a very important factor. We have got what we call standard duke or standard hand. Standard hand must be of our old dollar coin in size.
Okay.
Those that have got that size, we've got to tie them, say, 650 per person per day. But here I use kgs per person per day, because I don't want those big dukes. I want average dukes like this one, because you can see my duke appears to be long and very attractive even to the buyers. Before he even thinks twice, he gives you maybe 50 cents before he gives the final price on. But the duke is quite nice, and so I just give them 100 kgs per day per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now when we talk of grading, sometimes unonzwa kuti aachiri ma prime day pasi tikuita ma 60 kgs pa price panapa mugwazo. Taakwenda kuchipurura tatikwidze pamunhu akuita 120 kgs. Zvakamira sei pa scales ekuketa apa? Why ma prime achimbonzi 60 kana chaachipurura yonzi yadai kana amakata zvichingosiyana zvichienda zvakadaro?
The standard aspect of giving a task to a person was already calculated on the work study aspect. Easy to grade tobacco. One is going to grade 12,000 leaves per 8 hours. Difficult tobacco, 9,000 leaves per 8 hours. So then what happens? On each reaping, you count the number of leaves per kg. Primings, they're small and lighter, and they're too many.
Yes.
So you find that maybe in some situations, you'll be having 1 kg of prime leaf having 200 kgs or weighing 200 kgs, having 200 leaves per kg. So if you divide that, you end up getting 50 kgs or 60 kgs per 8 hours.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kavene, finally, as we round off, I want us to touch briefly on presentation yebhero. Mukaenda kumaflows uko vanhu vari kuona minana nezviratidzo mufungi. Rimwe bhero rinenge rakaitwa ngeseko, chakaitwa ngechiseko. Rimwe risina kana shape, risina makona. Standard bhero, Mr. Kavene, rakaita sei?
A standard barrel must have 61 centimeters by 61 centimeters by 61 centimeters, like a square, a sort of, or a cube, a sort of. When you are pressing, you must have some barrel press. That's what midindo ya yekudindira fodya. Ofana kwa iripo. Nima clamps zvinobata barrel racho. For example, you must have all sizes of clamps. A small barrel, bigger barrel, and the largest, something like that. So you leave those clamps after baling on holding the barrel for 24 hours.
Yes.
After it has been sewn, that's sewn also kanaka tightly with all those corners on the
shape.
Yeah, so that you've got a nice barrel. You leave it for 24 hours. When you remove, if you remove the balls and you remove the clamps, the barrel won't move.
Oh,
it will not bulge.
Yes.
But whereas with some small scale farmers, they send, say, 20 kgs. 20 kgs is quite small. You can't use the barrel, you cannot use the clamps. Okay. So just use your hand, press it a little bit, put another barrel on top of that barrel. But on transit, it bulges. So it goes there. So what matters most is the quality inside that barrel. But I encourage growers to buy or to acquire the baling presses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, finally, Mr. Kavene, you would find that mama bhero anoti perinovhurwa kudai hutsi hwobuda kutoita kunge mune steam kutoita kunge musona hutsi kuti guri chibuda chii chinenge chambokonzeresa izvo kuti bhero ratova kuflow vakomana vanocheka vaya vanovhura mavhuravhura vaya achingovhura bhero kudai hutsi.
So when conditioning your tobacco, you have to use low pressure steam. Though they've used high pressure steam. High pressure steam is dry and hot, and it discolors your tobacco as well. It loses quality, and it puts it keeps your tobacco hot as well. Both the high pressure steam is hot. Low pressure steam drips a little bit of water at the end, and it is low in terms of pressure. So that it's got a lot of moisture. It conditions your tobacco properly. But more importantly, we have to test to feel your tobacco before you bale it. Shake it a little bit so that it gets cold, it cools down.
Yes.
Then you put it in the press. But not direct from the hot steaming box into the barrel.
Yes.
For sure you get the hot steam coming out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kavene. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you so much.
There you heard it, viewers. We're looking at activities in the grading shed ahead of the tobacco marketing season here in Zimbabwe, where we are also celebrating women in the Women's Month. We are here in March, and we are talking of madzimai kugona kwavo kwavanoita kusunga madhuku ane standard. As you can see, madhuku ari panapa ari kuyevedza. Kumberi kwacho riri kuita $1, which is the standard of every hand tie. From me, your host Zanai Manyore, I'm also on Instagram. It's @W Manyore, and the crew behind the scenes. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.